my whole goal is to help consumers feel like personal well-being is simple, positive, accessible, doable for them. So every day they can take care of themselves in a way that is not so confusing and is fun to do and feels good. And so that's one of the reasons I came up with this idea for 2211. I've been a professor and working at universities with students for over 30 years. And I really wanted to say, well, how can we take what we know, synthesize it, simplify it into a program and a plan that offers a foundation for eating well, moving your body, and supporting your personal well-being with flexibility. So it is accessible to everyone. So that's my goal.
Welcome to Linda's Corner, where we bring more hope, healing, and happiness to the world. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about taking simple steps to lifelong nutrition. I'm delighted to welcome Susie Kundrat. Susie is an author, registered dietitian, nutritionist, wellness expert, and the founder and owner of Eat, Move, Groove, LLC. You can reach Susie at her website, eatmovegroove.com, and I'll include that link in the show notes. Welcome, Susie. I'm so glad that you could join with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a joy to be here.
Thank you. I am so excited to be able to have this conversation to help people be able to be healthier and make it feel manageable. As you know, we have so much conflicting information out there about, oh, you're supposed to do this to be healthy. Oh, no, that's wrong. That's completely wrong. What we're supposed to do is to do this to be healthy. And it gets confusing and overwhelming. It can almost give you anxiety just thinking about trying to take care of yourself. I checked out your website and I loved it. It had such a fun, positive vibe to it. And it just kind of felt like, oh, I can do this. So is it okay if we start with should we start with your 2211 plan?
Sure. Yes. Well, again, thank you so much for having me on. And my whole goal is to help consumers feel like personal well-being is simple, positive, accessible, doable for them. So every day they can take care of themselves in a way that is not so confusing and is fun to do and feels good. And so that's one of the reasons I came up with this idea for 2211. I've been a professor and working at universities with students for over 30 years. And I really wanted to say, well, how can we take what we know, synthesize it, simplify it into a program and a plan that offers a foundation for eating well, moving your body, and supporting your personal well-being with flexibility. So it is accessible to everyone. So that's my goal. And with the 2211 idea for eating, it really takes the simplicity and puts it into your hands, literally, because what I talk about with 2211 is starting your meal with a 22, which is at least 2 cups of produce. So if you took 2 hands and you filled them with produce, whether that's a handful of spinach or an apple or whatever it ends up being, that's the first two. So the first two is 2 cups of produce. The second two looks like about a tennis ball size, and that's at least 2 ounces of protein. Now, a tennis ball is about a half cup. If you took something like chicken breast and chopped it up, it would end up being about the size of a tennis ball. So that's the 2 ounces or more of protein, and that ends up being about 15 grams on a nutrition facts label for people to see. So if you picked up something and looked at the label, that's about 2 ounce equivalent of protein. So it's starting your meal with a 22, 2 cups of produce and at least 2 ounces of protein, and then adding the 11. And the 11 is one whole grain or starch, also looks about like a tennis ball size, and one healthy fat source, which if you took, for example, an avocado and divided it in half and smashed it down into about a golf ball size, that would be a healthy fat source. But it might be something like a tablespoon of olive oil or a handful of nuts or any number of things that have some good fats in them. So the 2211 really simplifies down to 2 cups of produce, at least 2 ounces of protein to start your meal. a whole grain or a starch, and a healthy fat source for the 11. And that's as difficult as it gets because, again, my belief and my experience as a registered dietitian through the years is that many people get kind of waylaid or confused by everything that's out there. And I believe simplifying the science, and I call it from science to simple when I present to professionals in the area. Let's simplify it. Let's make it accessible and doable. And the other piece that is very, very important to me is to respect people's differences, respect the foods they like. For example, the Mediterranean diet has so much great backing. I talk about it in the book a little bit for my base, and I based my plan on all these different things that really work. But for some people, they're not going to eat foods that are included in the Mediterranean diet. It's just not part of their culture. So, how could we open all that up and still get that research in, but allow everyone to eat foods they like? No food is off limits. So, that's the 2211 plan for eating.
Okay, I just want to cheer and go have a meal because this is so exciting. And I love how flexible it is. I love the idea that there isn't necessarily one right way to do it. I love when you said that nothing is off limits. It's like, this is okay. This is okay. But let's put things, into their perspective, into their proper place. Let's keep it simple. How
Yes.
beautiful. That just makes my heart sing. And I love the idea that the goal here is let's make it simple and let's make it joyful so that
Yes.
when I sit down to eat, I don't feel all this guilt like, oh my gosh, I want to eat this. I probably shouldn't eat this. And I think sometimes we get a very unhealthy relationship with our food and unhealthy ideas about our food. And to just simplify it and say, hey, isn't it wonderful that there's more than one right way to do things? And let's see if
Mm-hmm.
what you like, let's try to mold this into this little pattern so that you can be healthy and happy and make what you like work.
Right, right. And that's a nice little segue into the last piece of the eat, which is what I included. I included the idea of having love foods every day. And what I talk about with love foods is foods that you love to eat no matter the nutritional quality. Maybe they're also nutritionally sound, like maybe you love grapes and you're going to eat more of those. Fine. But maybe it's a piece of chocolate, or maybe you enjoy a glass of wine, or you enjoy some dessert. That's okay too, because that's the other piece where we tend to have a lot of guilt around food is eating things just for the flavor or just because they're our favorite foods. And those foods are fine too. And we know from a lot of data through the years that if we stop saying no to things and we open up our opportunities around food, then that takes the power away from something like a big brownie. Well, I love the brownie. If I have it once in a while and I don't feel bad about it, I'm probably not going to need it as often. Or maybe a small one will be fine because I know anytime I want a brownie, that's not a problem. And so I firmly believe that this guilt and shame around food is something that holds us back from nourishing ourselves, not only nourishing from the nutrient standpoint, which of course I know a lot about as a dietitian, but nourishing from the heart standpoint, from the standpoint of what feels good to us to eat, what we enjoy eating. The main reason we choose food is because it tastes good to us. So let's keep that front and center. But we can still build meals around this idea of 2211 in a way that is positive and supportive of our well-being as a whole.
Wow, Susie, I just want to pause, repeat, and replay. That message is so important. And the feeling of, you mean food is supposed to be enjoyable, and that's still okay. I'm supposed to enjoy my food because I like food. Food is enjoyable. It's
Yes.
supposed to be enjoyable. And
Yes.
isn't it kind of magical that when you remove that idea of I can't have, then I can choose. Sometimes we get this little mental game going on where it's like, don't tell me I can't have that. I'm just going to do it just to prove that you're not the boss of me. So
Of
when we can
course.
say, you know what? I can have that. I don't need it. And then I can switch to, do I want it?
Right.
and I'm a little bit more in control. So, oh, that just makes me happy. Oh, just wipe off all that stress, all that guilt, all
Mm,
that shame, and let's enjoy our food because
right.
there's so many reasons to enjoy.
Yes, and I think that plays over to the movement piece too. I purposely developed a plan calling it Eat, Move, and Groove, which is the supporting of our well-being as a whole. But we know that inviting people to move their bodies in ways that feel good to them is very different than saying you have to do this hard workout whether you like it or not. And so the movement piece and the experts I worked with in that area, the exercise physiologists I work with, and my colleagues in fitness and exercise really support this idea also of let's give people an invitation to move in ways that feel good to them too. And for many folks, it's kind of daunting and challenging to think about the term exercise. So I suggest we talk less about that term and more about movement. And even we know now, even getting up and moving 2 or 3 or 4 minutes at a time throughout the day is beneficial to us. And so let's break down those roadblocks around moving. And a piece of the book that I think is very important is not only asking readers to think about or listeners to think about their motivations for taking care of themselves, but let's think about the hows. For example, do you like getting on a bike or do you not? Do you enjoy moving in water or do you not? Do you prefer to be outside and move your body? Is that enjoyable to you? Do you prefer to move to music and dance through the house? I mean, there are so many ways we can move our body within our own limitations that we may have as well. And let's open that up too, so that that's more positive. And, I come from a background, I was a college basketball player. I've been very, at times, very intense athlete. And so that certainly I was kind of taught to train and do the best I could as an athlete. And through the years, have enjoyed all kinds of other activities that just bring me joy in addition to having a workout per se. And so I think there's room for all of it. And, when we look at the research on movement too, there are a lot of people who just don't feel that it speaks to them. And so, you might enjoy going to a gym, but you don't have to. You might enjoy moving wherever you live. And so we've developed all kinds of ideas and recommendations, not just on our website, but on our YouTube channel and on Instagram to help people say, wow, I never thought of that. And one of the pieces I have in the book, in fact, is something I do at home quite frequently, which is when I put a meal in the oven, I have a little 11-minute strength routine that I can do at the kitchen counter, everything from push ups to squats there to some strengthening and balance right at the counter. And it's something I enjoy and I can do it easily. So if you take those national guidelines for exercise or for movement and you say, well, it's about 150 minutes a week of purposeful movement where we want to get our heart rate up and we're breathing more heavily, amazingly, you divide that down by 7 and you get 22. And so there's the 22. The 2211 is 22 minutes a day of movement where you're breathing a little more heavily. You can feel your heart beating a little more strong, and 11 minutes of strength stretching or stability a day. And that meets the guidelines for movement. So amazingly, you can simplify both the eating and the moving in a positive way with this 2211 plan. And it's something you can go back to every day. And many clients or consumers will tell me, gosh, I kind of fell off the wagon, or I didn't do this, or I was on vacation, or this or that. I say, no problem. Every day is new. Every day is fresh. Every day is yours. And you can implement this 2211 plan in your eating and your moving in ways that work for you each and every day without worrying or feeling guilty about what happened yesterday. And that also lifts off, a lot of the heaviness around moving and eating for people. And I'm getting great feedback. We've been going all around the country on an an Eat, Move, Groove US tour for the last 2 months in our little camper van. It's been such a blast. And meeting with, I was just checking this morning, and we've had over 40 workshops all around the Northeast and the Midwest. Worked with over 2,000 people already in the last 2 months. We're heading to the Southeast next week. And then we're going to spend the rest of the year from January through May, all through the South, Southwest, and the West Coast, meeting with all kinds of people from students, college students to seniors. And the feedback we're getting is keep it simple, which was our goal. Keep it simple, keep it accessible, keep it fun, keep it positive, and make it easier to keep doing, right? Because as you've said, we can learn all this stuff about nutrition and fitness and wellness, but we really want to find things we can implement every day. And that's what's going to make the biggest impact on our well-being.
And that makes all the difference because learning something is nice, but until we do it, until we implement it, it doesn't benefit me. I
Right.
can look at the research and say, wow, it is so good for people to do exercise. It is so good for people to eat well, but it doesn't make any difference until I turn it into me search, until I
Mhm.
eat well, until I move my body. I love the way that you have just simplified things. I even really appreciate the change of the term from exercise into move
Mhm.
because exercise has a feeling about it. And those people who love to go to the gym, and I've talked to many people that they just love it. It just,
Oh, sure.
fires them up and it makes them so excited. Or they're competitive athletes like you were, and they love it and they just get out there and it's so much fun. But there are a whole lot of people that don't fit into that category of I love to go to the gym and I love competitive sports. And for the rest of us, it's like, and what about me?
Mhm.
For many people to drag yourself to the gym is like a torture session. It's just not, it's not where I want to be. I want to do it in a
Yes.
different way. So how
Mhm.
beautiful that there's more than one way. I love that you talked about your routine of what you do when you're cooking dinner. I mean, talk about
Yes.
a win-win. It's like, this is in the oven for, 11 minutes. I can do some exercise here and take care of this. And I love that we get to choose what we want. So for me,
Right. Right.
I hate running. I hate it. I hate it, which is a strong word, I know, but it's also true. But I love my bicycle. So for
Mhm.
me, when I go for a bike ride, I ride 10 miles every day, and it's not exercise. It's it's zen, joyful, wonderful time, and it makes
Mhm.
me happy. So that makes all the difference. And some people maybe haven't found that thing that works for them. So maybe we need to do a little experimenting. Let's try this and let's try this and let's kind of see
Mhm.
what's gonna work for me. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize that your 2211 matched with the moving too. Does it go all the way through? I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, it certainly matches with the moving, and in the book, then I researched and wrote about 22 ways to get your groove on. And so, actually, initially, I had a group of about 22 women go through my initial focus group program about 6 years ago. And as part of that program, what I was thinking made the most sense was to take 22 minutes a day and just do something personally for yourself. But the feedback I got from people was that, okay, the eating, the moving, and then 22 additional minutes a day was stressing them out. And so they said that part is doesn't feel like the groove because it's another thing to do. So that really was helpful to me. So I came back and said, okay, what are small little things we can do um, to keep our well-being, to keep feeling good? And I know when you interviewed Mark Fussell and you interviewed him about, say, 2 minutes, I talk about a 2 minute miracle in the book of, spending 2 minutes the night before to get yourself ready. But one of the things I mentioned in the book about the groove is just a breathing exercise, gratitude, the things that we can do that might take even a minute. They don't have to take 22, they can just take a minute to reflect. And I liked his point about the three gratitudes before you go to bed, or three things that you're grateful for before you go to sleep. And I really believe in that. And one of my colleagues, Mindy, talks about that too in her gratitude practice. And I think it's a simple thing that people can do. So the third part, the groove. is anything you might do to feel good and anything you might do to support your personal well-being, whether that is thinking ahead and putting your pieces of fruit on a beautiful bowl. I have this beautiful bowl right here, and at home we have a lovely produce plate where every day we put more fruits and veggies on that plate. We see them and we know we're going to eat them that day. And so that simple movement of taking the fruit and putting it in plain sight and having it on a beautiful plate that you enjoy looking at is part of my groove. It's a way that I can prepare myself to eat well. And whether that's being in community or having your own spiritual practice, whatever that is for anyone, sort of giving permission to find your groove and take time, whatever you need to take care of yourself. I think this is particularly important for women who may be generally more caregivers and thinking that, wow, if I take care of myself and eat well for myself and move well for myself and take care of my personal well being, I am also more available not only to myself, but to others. And so I do think a lot of it is offering opportunities and invitations to wellness. I call Eat, Move, Groove an invitation to well-being wherever you are, wherever you start, whatever you need to find a way. And I also think of it as a bridge. And so there might be a lot of people who are already over the bridge eating well, exercising, doing things they have it all set up. But there are a lot of people who still need to cross the bridge or would like to cross the bridge but aren't sure which route to take. And so I'm offering Eat Move Groove as an opportunity, as a road to find well-being, doing the things that we know from research have the greatest impact on our health and well-being, but opening up the opportunities for people in ways that work for them.
That is so amazing. You have just shared such a wealth of information. And as I'm listening, I'm thinking, ooh, we could talk about that more. Ooh, we could go off on this. And there's so many things that I know we're not going to cover them all. But I really appreciated several aspects I want to bring out. And one is I thank you for listening to feedback
Mhm.
for people who feel overwhelmed. When we try to share, and I love that you put it as an invitation because that matters to me, that it's an invitation. Nobody can fix me but me. You can invite me, but I'm the one that has to accept. We cannot force another person. It is an invitation. And when
Right,
you said, hey, I think this is a really good idea. And then the feedback comes in and says, rather than helping me feel more empowered, there is a limit, there's a level where if I go beyond that, I'm feeling overwhelmed rather than feeling
right.
empowered to become the best version of me. And I
Mhm,
appreciate that you listened and you responded and said, if that's the way you feel, then let's find something that is simple and that it works according to the research that will
mhm,
work for you. And isn't it beautiful that we can make a difference in 1 to 2 minutes? And I've seen that statistic, those numbers come up again and again and again. It really can be very small, bite sized pieces of time that we can fit in without feeling overwhelmed to help us feel happy, to help us feel grateful, to help us feel peaceful, and to help us feel to find joy. So we're not
mhm,
just going through the motions, but I feel joy. And I thought it was fascinating that you brought up our physical environment and how we can create something to make it beautiful and to encourage us to
mhm,
do that healthy eating. Like you, I also have a beautiful dish. Mine is a glass. It's pretty, and I keep it filled with apples, and I keep one filled with other things because when we see things out, we eat them. And
mhm,
sometimes I've seen, you have one thing about candy is, oh, it has such beautiful colors. And man, if you put a nice dish of candy out there, then people just, they eat it. And so if I don't put that out, but instead out on my counter, I choose to put something beautiful, colorful, and good for me, I'm going to eat it. and the
Yeah.
people who walk past are going to eat it. Fruit is a little easier that way than vegetables because they come
Yes.
with those beautiful bite-sized handheld things. But when I keep cut carrots and things out, I eat them. And when I don't,
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, it's that idea to make it simple. I've always said through the years when I work with whether I'm working with professional athletes or patients in a hospital, I've always said make it as easy as eating a Snickers or as easy as eating your favorite candy bar. So if we can do that, then it becomes a lot, a lot easier for us to eat well and know that also if I want that Snickers, that's fine too. But I'm gonna try to give myself a lot of opportunities to eat well and to move well and take care of myself. And I think the other thing is we do hear a lot of negativity around food or things not to eat and not to do. And even one of the recipes, all my recipes are very simple and easy to do, common ingredients. The book is written in 12 points, so it's easier to read. And I have an audio book that was very important to me to develop that for accessibility in an ebook. But even one of the recipes that people say they're surprised with is, and it's something we do often on Thursdays where we chop up whatever veggies are left in the fridge, we saute them, throw them on pizza dough or a frozen pizza, add a little cheese, and then bake that. That's about 11 minutes, and that's plenty of time to do your strength. And then you have this pizza that comes out with all these veggies on top. And sometimes people will say, well, should you eat a frozen pizza? I said, sure, you just make it really healthy. You can do it. And that way you don't waste all those veggies in the bottom of your fridge either. So, from a food sustainability idea, that works really well too. So, that those kinds of things are fun. And the other piece that was really important to me writing this book and developing the Eat Move Groove programs is that we made a commitment to donating 22% of everything we make from the book sales. All of our profits, 22% goes back to nutrition security and inclusive wellness opportunities around the world. And so we have been donating wherever we go, we donate back to nutrition, food pantries or nutrition or wellness programs. And that has been wonderful. So for us, it's been an opportunity to help people in different ways, particularly have more access to good healthy food, which I believe is a right of everyone and part of our goal. So feel very fortunate to be in a position to take something positive like this book and the programs and use it in a way so that anyone who purchases a book is actually helping other people eat good, healthy food who need it. And so that's been a dream, and it's wonderful to be able to bring that into fruition.
Oh, Susie, that just touches my heart. Thank you. As we're talking about these opportunities for nutrition, for many of us, it's a choice.
Mhm.
But for some people, it's what do I have available?
Right,
And if I
right.
don't have anything available, what do I do? So
Mhm.
thank you for paying it forward, not
Yes.
only in explaining and teaching, but also helping people to have access to the food that they need. That that just really struck a chord with me, and I thank you.
Yeah,
I,
well, we're fortunate to be able to do it. It's nice to be in a position to be able to help people and also do something good with what we're out here doing across the country. We're enjoying it ourselves and enjoying the travel, but at the same time, I think making an impact where we go is very important.
mm, wow, just layers of goodness. This is good. This is accessible. This is simple. This
Mhm.
is easy. This is joyful. This is for everyone. It's just like this beautiful parfait of awesomeness. And I'm really loving it. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you want to make sure that we cover before we close today?
Well, I think that one thing that's important to me is just that people maybe hear. that they can do this too, and that it is an invitation. And I have a lot of gratitude to the people who came before me and taught me, and I have much gratitude to my students and my intern team who have been learning all about this and helping me get the word out. They've been fantastic. And anytime, I've always believed that if you have an idea, you have a way that you hope will make a positive impact in the world. There are a lot of people who like to come along with you, but somebody has to try to do it. So this has been the most fun for us, is to meet people all around the country who also, like you, have a commitment to offering joyful, fun, accessible opportunities to everyone to improve their health and well-being in many ways. And so, being on this podcast with you is a great example of how you're connecting with people with similar passion for changing lives for the better for people.
Absolutely. And living joyfully. And thank you
Yes,
for helping people feel like, huh, that's for me too. When Susie's talking, that sounds like it includes me. And that
yes,
makes all the difference. So thank
yes.
you. And thank you so much for visiting with me today. This has been awesome.
Yes, I've enjoyed being here. I hope people follow along with us at Eat, Move, Groove. They can find information on our website. And again, we're doing a lot more on YouTube because we're finding that that visual piece of seeing how to make some of these recipes and seeing how to move and take care of yourself and relax is also really important. So hopefully, we'll just continue to put new resources out there for anyone who's listening who may be interested in simple ways to boost their well-being.
Oh, thank you, Susie. In closing, I'd like to share a quote by Jim Rohn. He said, "Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live." Today, I invite our listeners to find joyful ways to take care of our bodies by eating, moving, and grooving. See you next time on Linda's Corner. Thanks for listening. Please share and subscribe to help us reach new listeners. And if you'd like to heal your life from the inside out, there is a free video series at hopeforhealingfoundation.org. Just click on the free stuff tab. I also invite you to grab a copy of one of my books, like Crushed, A Journey Through Depression, and You Got This, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. See you next time on Linda's Corner.